We ended with her telling her,
Mother, is it true? You've chosen to...
Live. I have chosen to live.
"Yay! We did it! Yay!" Oh, Apollo's happy. Apollo's happy. Woo!
I'm so sorry, Venus.
Sorry, Venus.
I made you so many promises, dearest, and I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy.
Oh.
If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
Yay! I'm so happy.
I as well. Always.
Oh, so perfect. So
I
perfect.
hope none of us regret this choice in the days to come. But thank you.
This one was the hardest song to get through so far in this game because the stakes were already really high. So high, I really felt like if I made one wrong decision, it could completely undo what I ultimately was trying to do, was to help her decide for herself that she should stop running and that she can handle she can get through this, and she has the aid of Eros and all of the people that love her. They can help her get through this. Feel free to use them as a guide, as a crutch. And because I feel like a lot of people just need to know that. A lot of people who find themselves in a situation like that just needs to know that A, they can do it, and B, they have support. They have people who can help them through this. It was really hard because when I was looking at a lot of the dialogue choices, the lyric choices, there were so many that I was very on the fence with, whether I was going to go blue or green, red. I really wanted to choose red at some point because I did want to, drive home. This is my opinion of what I think is best for you, and this is why. A little bit of tough love, so to speak. She could be the goddess of love. I can be sort of like the sub-demigoddess of tough love, And so I ended up choosing a lot of lyrics at the beginning to empathize with her, just to let her know, look, I don't understand what you're going through fully. I don't think any one of us can understand fully, but I empathize with you. I know that you must be hurting and you must be feeling this. I get you. I got you. But, I think you can and you deserve to live. And I think you are strong. You have a fire within you to move on and get through this and just break this cycle. Like, very aggressively at the end. And just end with that red. So perfect. So perfect. I love the songs that I'm coming with. It just really feels like this musical, these individual, pieces are perfectly created just for me and my Grace's story. Perfectly. I really hope this isn't worse. You promised to help me. This will work out. I really hope this isn't worse. This will work out.
It has to be better than doing the same thing over and over.
Does it? It could also be far worse.
Don't talk like that, Mother. We can fight this.
Yes.
I'm so very tired, my loves, but I will. I'll try.
Good.
Now then, Grace. You needed my help. No doubt regarding Calliope's death? Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
I have theories.
For starters, it has to be one of the idols.
Oh? What makes you think that?
It had to be someone who knew Calliope and wanted her gone, with enough knowledge and power to fool the chorus. They didn't plan for Calliope to get away. I was an accident. They covered up everything else so well.
That's very clever. You may be right.
I am clever.
You're thinking of Medusa, aren't you?
Medusa. Ooh. Wait, what? Wait, what?
Wait, hold the phone. That chick who turns people into stone?
That's the one.
Or makes them stone.
She works for Athena as a watcher.
Makes them
She's
stone.
everywhere, lurking in the shadows.
That would be a funny twist.
If you look anywhere, Grace, start with her.
That would
Come now, Mother. It's time you rested. It's been a long night.
If I don't, I suppose you'll both gang up on me again. Very well.
What if we wanted to romance you, though? Can we romance her? She's the Aphrodite. She's the goddess of love. It would be silly if we couldn't romance her. Oh, Paula Peruves broke the cycle of rebirth and convinced
Did they have
Aphrodite to
anything
live.
helpful?
Nice.
Maybe? What do you know about Medusa?
I know she's dangerous, but she does Athena's bidding.
She does.
How sure are you of
She
that?
does.
I'm not sure of anything any longer. You aren't thinking of seeking her out, I hope.
I think I'm being railroaded too, Paul. I think the plot demands me too. I can handle myself. Is there another way? If I can find her. Is there another way?
I have to. How else will I find out what she knows?
You need to be careful, Grace. Medusa is not to be toyed with.
Yeah.
Athena employs her as a spy master, a hound to do her bidding, a vicious hound at that. Athena's not likely to tell either of us where to find Medusa. I can't say for certain who would know.
Pan.
Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
Aphrodite went through so much. I'm thinking about Calliope's memories. I'm fine. Aphrodite went through so much.
What Aphrodite went through, it's a lot.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about the life of an immortal. It never ends.
Wow. Way to really sell it, Apollo.
You really are amazing, you know that?
Oh.
Every hurdle, every piece of unpleasant news, you just keep on going. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, Paul. What do you mean? I am amazing. I have no choice. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Uh-huh. You going somewhere with this, Apollo?
I just wish I could see the world through your eyes. Next to you, I feel very old.
No, let me is it that bad? You are old. I can't help you. Heartbreak. Or let me show you what I see. Ooh, is this good? Is this going to be it? I see the exclamation points because I feel like this is it. This is the big choice. Let me show you what I see.
How about you come with me sometime? Let me show you the world I see.
I can show you the
A tempting offer.
Ooh,
Sounds kind of corny, huh?
sounds kind of
It really
horny.
doesn't. I would love that. Can we go now?
Uh-oh.
Hey, I'm game if you are.
Are we going to sing about it too? We got... Yes! Yay!
Let your hair down for a second. There's so much to like if you open your eyes. If you try to search for the light, you might be surprised. No, it's not hard to find. The courage you need to be joyful is something you build over time. No matter what I do, the answer's in you. But I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here for the ride.
Come on, Paul.
I'll take your hand for a minute. Oh, it's more than I feel I deserve.
Woo! Yeah, Paul.
It could grow on me, this world that you see. Yet I've been alive for too long. 1,000 years of learning about what could go wrong. I'm tired of being wrong.
Apollo, I'm sure you've had it rough. 1,000 years of life is hard, but easier with someone like me to lean on.
Love is like an open door.
The courage you need to be joyful.
I appreciate the
Something I'll
campaign.
come help you find.
If I ever let her know,
No matter what I do, the answer's in
the
you.
answer's
But
in
I'll hold your
me.
hand all the while.
The courage you need to be joyful is something you build over time. No matter what I do, the answer's in you. I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here for the ride.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Let's look at our journal now. Oh gosh, there's a lot. Oh, I think we already did this. Nothing for Hermes. Aphrodite, a lot. Okay. I guess Aphrodite is throwing some kind of party? Apollo thinks I should go since Aphrodite knows everyone who's anyone and might be able to help me. He's being kind of vague about what the party's about, though. Should I be worried? I went to Aphrodite's party, and it was less of a party and more of a funeral. I guess Aphrodite never quite got over her terrible experience during the war, so now she passes on her eidolon every 20 years or so in order to forget what happened to her for a while. The entire thing sounds really macabre, but a lot of the other idols seem okay with it. Everyone except for Calliope, it seemed. Eros told me all about... I think maybe one excuse I have about finally trying to talk her out of passing her eidolon along is because subconsciously Calliope within me is hoping that she can help break the cycle. And so I think that, paired with Grace's own personality and memories, was what ultimately led her to make the decision to talk her out of it. Eros told me all about what Aphrodite went through during the war, how she was kidnapped by the enemy, how she was freed by her husband, Hephaestus, and how she never got to thank or say goodbye to, who she never got to say thank you, got to thank or say goodbye to. She's riddled with so much guilt and trauma, and she can't escape any of it. As soon as her memories return, she's in constant agony, even if she hides it pretty well. Even so, he doesn't think what she's doing is the right answer to her problems. It certainly hasn't helped so far. I told Eros that I tried to persuade Aphrodite to hold on. Who knows? Maybe it's not even possible. I have to try, because what she's been doing to cope, this clearly isn't the answer. Apollo said something about Aphrodite which has stuck with me. He says she chooses successors who are kind, generous people because she thinks that in time that will make her a better person. In the end, I inspired Aphrodite to continue living. She's going to hold on and keep everything. I hope I didn't offend her too much during the song, but I had to do it. She's so regal and amazing. If anyone can do it, she can. I'd be very surprised if you couldn't actually flirt with and romance Aphrodite. I'd be surprised. Despite all of his abs and surfer dude looks, despite, Apollo is just like some grandpa who's never managed to keep up with the times. That was totally not intentional. At least he doesn't shake his cane at all the young whippersnappers passing by his house. Unless he does, how would I know? So he's basically the daddy or granddaddy. So Apollo and I kind of danced after the party, and there was this moment where I thought, are we going to kiss? Did I want it to happen? Is he interested in me in that way? Could I be dating a Greek god? This is so weird. Yes, you could be. Yes. Pan. This is interesting. I thought Apollo and Persephone had kind of dismissed the idea of Pan being a suspect when we were all together, but Apollo suggested that Pan's a schemer, and we shouldn't completely disregard the idea. Pan certainly does seem like the kind of idol who could be involved in nefarious deeds, I guess. I met Eros later on at Aphrodite's party, and suddenly his dark mood makes sense. It seems that he's Aphrodite's constant caretaker. He's watched her throw these parties and die, over and over, and I think he's finally reached his limit. He can't stand Aphrodite's pain, but I think he doesn't know what to do about it. He's hoping I can convince her to stop, which is a tall order for sure, and I don't know that it would actually make it better. I believe it will. Apollo said that he thinks Eros has stayed with Aphrodite all this time because he feels like he owes her. Once upon a time, it was Eros who was the eternal disaster, Apollo's words, and she was the caregiver. So now he must return the favor no matter how it hurts his soul. I think Apollo's probably right. In the end, I did what Eros asked. I convinced Aphrodite to hold on, to keep fighting. You should have seen him when she said she'd try. I thought he was going to collapse into tears on the spot. I hope I did the right thing. I believe we did. I met the person who's supposed to become the new Aphrodite. Her name's Venus, and she seems really sweet. Aphrodite has been preparing her for months. Must be nice. And she seems to know what she's getting into. But does that make it okay? In the end, I inspired Aphrodite to keep trying to stay alive. Still not sure how. I hope it was the right thing to do, and I hope that Venus can forgive me for taking this opportunity away from her, if that's the way she even saw it. Something tells me she's okay with it, and she'll be there to help Aphrodite get through whatever comes next. Medusa. Oh, there she is. Now this is interesting. Once Aphrodite's party was over, I spoke to her and Eros, and guess who they thought brought up as a suspect? Medusa. You know, the monster with the snake hair who turns people to stone. Even I've heard of her. Seems Medusa is alive and well and works for Athena as some kind of watcher? What is that, like a security guard? A spy? Aphrodite said she's suspicious as heck and worth looking into, provided I can find her. Alright, let's talk to Apollo. Hey, handsome.
Hello again. I can't remember the last time I had guests so frequently.
Mm-hmm.
I did tell you we could discuss your memories and the Eidolon more in depth after the party. Did you have any questions, or?
Or is the part. How many times have you died? Well, I feel different. How many times have you died?
How many times have you died? Can I ask that?
Well, we call it passing on, meeting the Eidolon, and it's fine. I've passed on 12 times that I can recall.
Huh.
So your name isn't really Apollo.
Interesting.
Most recently, it was Lucas.
Lucas.
Everyone Lucas ever knew is gone, however, so these days I prefer Apollo again.
Lucas.
Lucas?
I love that name.
Seems weird to think of you as a Lucas.
It was weird for him, too. Much like yourself, Lucas becoming Apollo was somewhat of a surprise.
Sounds like there's a story there.
Mm-hmm. I do want to know that story. My very first crush was my best friend in elementary school, whose name was also Lucas. I love that name. I prefer Lucas way more than Luke, personally. Yeah, he was my first crush. He also was the very first person that I actually came out to right after my 18th birthday party, which is, you know, and I didn't plan it. It just kind of happened. I remember. And Lucas was so wonderful to me when I first came out. I couldn't have asked for a better person to come out to. Someone who I adored and cared for so long, ever since we were kids. Ever since he was 10 and I think I was 11. Yeah, I had a big crush on him as young as 11 years old when he was 10. And yeah, I came out to him 7 years later. And he was fantastic. And had I come out to anyone who was not nearly as awesome as him, I probably would have stayed in the closet for even longer, like from there, and not told anyone else. So I will always be so grateful for his friendship to this day. And one thing that I even in that one conversation, this wasn't the same conversation that I came out to him at, and this was a very long phone call. He got me to admit, I don't know how he did it, but he got me to admit that yes, he was my very first crush, and I did like him back in elementary school, and he was nothing but flattered. He wore that as a badge of pride. He was so flattered that I was his first crush. And I would joke with him that the only reason I'm gay today was because of him. If I had never met him, I would have ended up straight. And that was like our ongoing joke for a while. And then when I was in college, I repeated that joke with him as well in front of my roommates in college. And one of my roommates, when I said, yeah, if it wasn't for Luke, I would have probably become straight to this day. And one of my roommates says, yeah, but Harky would eventually met me. And I was like, you're right, then I probably would have turned gay then. So it was inevitable. I thought that was very cute and very hilarious. But anyway, yeah, Lucas. So Apollo's identity before was Lucas. That is so interesting. Tell me about Lucas. I do want to know about
Tell me
Lucas.
about this Lucas. How did he become you? Or is it how you became Apollo?
Apollo had taken to surfing. He left the city without permission and roamed the coast looking for... Well, I'm not sure now.
So you don't remember
whatever it was,
Lucas.
he found it one night when a giant wave took him down. He was drowning, and I thought, this is finally it. But it wasn't. Lucas saw Apollo struggling and swam out to save him. He pulled us ashore, but it was too late. It took a long time to realize what happened. I didn't return to the city until years later. By then, everyone thought I was Apollo's chosen successor.
But it wasn't by choice.
So no trial for you, huh?
It wasn't easy at first, without memories or anyone to guide me, but no, nothing like that.
Interesting. So, okay. So, I guess if a god dies and he's not in the vicinity of another mortal, if no one is close enough to pass your eidolon off to, then you just die. If you die by yourself alone, then you don't pass your eidolon around. Or is there a range of some sort? Like, what is the range? Or does the eidolon just float along and just runs into the first mortal that it happens to run into? Like, how does that work? I'm curious about that. What if Lucas hadn't been there? There's the question then. What if Lucas hadn't been there?
Wait, what would have happened if Lucas hadn't tried to rescue you? What if no one was there when you...
When I died, then the eidolon of Apollo's line would have ended forever, I think.
So what's the range?
You think?
What's the range?
There have been stories about eidolons that survive for a time and go wandering.
Oh.
That's probably all they are, though.
Oh.
Stories.
So maybe.
It's not something we've had much opportunity to study, but normally death without passing on is how an idol really dies. Forever.
So Hades, when Persephone killed Hades' eidolon could have been roaming around for a while, eventually ended up somewhere into someone, and that person became the killer. I don't know. Will I feel different as I change?
When all these memories start to return, will I feel different?
Well, let's see. It starts as dreams you'll have of places you've never been, people you've never met, fleeting images, feelings. Then they'll appear while you're awake. You'll be eating breakfast and suddenly recall when you last ate something similar in the 17th century. The only difficult part is that eventually it can be hard to differentiate between your life and all those other lives. They blend together.
So fascinating.
It does sound confusing.
Yeah.
A little, yeah. And not all the memories will be good ones. It can take time to process.
Will I still remember my own life?
You said it becomes hard to differentiate your life from the others. How hard, exactly? It'll still be me, right?
Grace, would you say that who you are is at least in part due to your experiences?
I guess so, sure.
Well, you'll have a lot more experiences. They won't feel like someone else's either. It will feel like you did all those things. They will shape who you are now, just as they shaped Calliope and all those who came before her. The good news is, you won't get all the memories. Each time we pass on, the older memories fade.
How is the fading memories a good thing?
Wait, how is it good that old memories start to fade?
We're many thousands of years old, Grace. If all of those memories returned with perfect clarity...
That's true.
You'd drown in them.
That's true.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean you've all forgotten so much?
Like how to use a phone?
Tell me, how much do you remember from when you were a small child?
Bits and pieces, I guess. Not much.
It's the same for us. The further I try to think back, the more blurry it becomes.
That makes sense.
I remember the important bits, but little
bits.
else.
Yeah.
Some of the really old memories. There's so many mortal stories that get mixed up with them, things my previous selves learned as legends. It becomes hard to tell. It takes time, Grace. You'll remember all the lives you've led, but at a pace you can handle, and nothing more.
This makes a lot of sense. The lore behind all of this is pretty cool. That's all for now.
It's a lot to consider. Assuming I'll even have time to worry about it, what with the trial coming.
Hopefully this eases whatever concerns you might have had. Anything else you'd like to discuss while you're here?
I mean, the word discuss is not necessarily the only thing I came here for. I want to know more about you.
I'd like to know a little more about you. All I know is you live in a dump, you have an oracle, and you...
I'm not sure what to tell you. One day has bled into the next for so long I feel like I've been lost in the spaces in between.
Wow, that's a bit dramatic.
Yeah, well, it comes naturally. Music and the arts were once under my purview as a god.
How did that get decided? Did you have a big hat full of pieces of paper and you all picked at random?
No, we chose them for ourselves. Some, at least. Others were given to us by our priests. We collected godly responsibilities like marbles.
People collect marbles?
Oh, whatever it is mortals collect these days. Cars, perhaps? The point is, we took our godly duties very seriously.
Not anymore? What were you like as a god?
You must have been very different back when you were a proper god.
Proper god.
I think most of us were. We saw ourselves as, teachers. Mortals were our students, and we guided them to enlightenment. We thought we were special, infallible. I was as magnificent as the sun, and I surrounded myself with those who basked in my radiance.
That doesn't sound like you.
Yeah, I was arrogant. If there was a man or woman I desired, then I had to have them, or there would be consequences.
Yikes.
You wouldn't have liked me. I wouldn't have liked me.
Yeah, the gods were definitely very horny. Very horny in mythology. Why was Persephone so angry at you?
So what is Persephone's beef with you exactly? Is it just about what Hades did to her?
That's no small thing.
It seems more personal than that.
I mentioned how Persephone's kidnapping almost meant war between Olympus and Hades, yes?
Yeah?
Well, while this was all going on, Persephone managed to escape the underworld, and I'm the one she encountered first.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Hades was hot on her heels, and I had a choice. Either do battle with Hades and start the war right then and there, or let him take her back.
I'm scared of what you did.
Zeus would have had my head if I had sparked a war. Yet all I still think of are Persephone's eyes as Hades smugly took back his prisoner.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
It's not my finest moment.
Have you ever tried therapy? Have you ever tried therapy?
Apollo, have you ever tried, talking to someone about how you feel?
You can tell me.
I will never understand this modern fascination with therapy and focusing on one's feelings.
Well, it does work.
It might help. You never know.
It does help a lot of people.
Yes, I've tried it. There was one I used to speak to. Hecate enchanted him never to reveal what I told him. It was interesting. Frankly, my time with you has proven far more beneficial.
Really? I can
I'm
be your
not a
therapist.
therapist, Apollo.
I can be.
I understand. And I don't mean to rely on you, only that it makes me happy just to know you, Grace.
Thank you. Tell me more about Calliope.
Tell me more about Calliope. You and her were good friends, right?
For centuries, we were far more. I was the god of the arts, and the muses were my constant companions. We went everywhere together. They had many names, but the three most common were Clio, Talia, and Calliope. The sisters of beauty, I called them, though they weren't always women.
Interesting.
I never thought of that. Do idols change gender a lot?
That's cool.
Most of us seek out inheritors who are like us, I suppose, but not all. Calliope, in fact, was a man in her previous incarnation.
That's interesting.
Kristoff, I think his name was. A poet Calliope adored. I was surprised when she made him a muse.
That's really fantastic.